How can you get a 100x gain in crypto? Well, this video, we're going to talk about how a Patreon member just got a 100x gain today. So if you guys are new here, definitely smack that subscribe button. This is the crypto homie. Obviously, I have my PhD in hodlonomics. I mean, it must be true. It's on the tweeters in my bio. So of course, smash the subscribe button. If you're a returning person, thank you so much for tuning in. So before we get into it, smash that like button because we're gonna get into some good old juicy details of how you can potentially make 50, 100x returns in the crypto space. Guys, there's still opportunities out there, so don't fret. Just stay tuned. As we see here, this is the Patreon right here on April 11th, 2021. I said this could be huge. I said, good evening, everyone. Does anyone remember what happened to Polkadot's Polkastarter? Here is Cardano's version with a link to CoinMarketCap going to the coin, which we'll get to. It's called CardStarter, and the ticker is cards. So I said, edit. I just bought some cards as well as some Ethereum, like for gas fees. So I was so bullish when I first saw it. So like, wow, CardStarter? That reminds me exactly of Polkastarter, which I'm not sure if you guys are aware, Polkastarter did very well. So going over to the CardStarter website, we'll get into price action, we'll get into all that, just stay tuned. Like this right here's their website. It says the first insured project accelerated for Cardano. If you're not sure what an IDO is, it's basically like when they list a new token, kind of like back in 2017, there's all these ICOs, it was such a big deal. It's essentially the same thing. But the cool thing is with these IDOs, you have to have a certain amount of card starters to participate. So they call it the wild cards and face cards. They get all like silly terminology to keep it very simple. In order to be guaranteed to get into these IDOs, you need 1,500 cards to get guaranteed allocation. That only gives you a 2x pull weight. If you want a 10% chance of getting into the allocation of the IDO, you have to have 100 cards, and 25% you need 500 cards, and so on. But the minimum amount you need to guarantee to get into these IDOs to have the potential to make these 100x gains is 1,500 cards. Now, of course, if you have more, you get better pull weight. That means you can invest more and have even like more massive gains. It's absolutely like insane. So, what's the price of CardStarter at? What is this coin that this Patreon member purchased? What IDO and where they made 100x gains? We'll get to that. As we see, CardStarter is currently at around $62.38. Back when I first mentioned it on the Patreon, it was around $30. There was a nice flash crash down to $12. That's when the Patreon member loaded up. I always stress buying the dip, literally bought the dip, bought enough cards, bought 1,500 cards when it was on a massive dump and loaded up. So now that has an allocation to, it's called the Jacks. So it's part of the Jack Club and has guaranteed allocation to all of the IDOs. Pretty impressive because that takes some initiative because that was still a decent amount of bucks to just dump on some project when you don't really know what's going to happen. But what I saw with Polkastarter made some massive gains. It has a very similar process. There's a lottery system. And I mean, if you have 1,500 cards, there's no lottery system because you're guaranteed in there. Yes, of course, if you get 4,500, you get a 6x pull weight, or if you get 9,000, you get even better pull weight. But still, able to make 100x. This person invested $215 in this IDO, which we can go on their website. You go to projects, it was the Giro wallet IDO, was invested $215. Yes, there was a $60 Ethereum gas fee for this transaction, but still went through with it, was like, whatever, we'll see what happens because bullish on this project, bullish on all the hype, the Telegram was popping. Guess what? The next day, it was just a couple hours later that $215 plus that really crazy gas fee of $60 was worth $9,000. This morning, got a message that he is up 100x on the IDO investment, including the gas fee. That's just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, guys. These IDOs have so much potential. That's why back on April 11th, when I first saw this project hit about $40. And then it was hanging around $30 at the time that I saw it. I just bought right away. I was like, this thing has a lot of potential. It's on a little bit of a pullback. I think this thing's gonna do great. And guess what? It has been doing great. The current price, like we just mentioned, was $62 right now for CardStarter. The gains aren't necessarily going to be in CardStarter. Yes, do I believe CardStarter is going to do well? Yes. Do I have CardStarters? Of course I do. I mean, what do you think the homie's doing? I do think it'll do well, but the gains are definitely in those IDOs. And if you're able to get into those, I mean, don't hesitate. Of course, will they all make 100x gains? No, they're not all going to do that. There's no guarantees. So some of them you could lose money, but most of them you're probably going to make a decent buck. See, it's kind of crazy, Bitcoin's down, the entire market's down, except for some few alts, and the Patreon member still made 100x. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. The Giro thing is currently at 81 cents. It's actually cooling down. It was like 90 some cents earlier, just about like 20 minutes ago. So it's cooling down. I mean, a lot of volatility. It's going to pop really high. It's going to come back down. You go down to the chart. I mean, just look at this for the past 24 hours. Nice massive moves in it's consolidating. There's a lot of hype around this project for the Cardano ecosystem. I'm very, 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 and let me just tell you, very bullish on the Cardano ecosystem. The money's going to be made in the projects built under Cardano, not necessarily Cardano. So just keep that in mind. There is swaps. They're going to have the Uniswap of Cardano coming out. So stay tuned for that as well. So when it comes to IDOs, what can you do? What can you do? Being able to see early what's going on, being able to see the potential of what Cards has. I mean, that's where the gains are made. I personally did not have enough money to invest, like to buy 1,500 cards at that time, which is definitely a little disappointing. And you have to look to see what the KYC is, and there is a little restrictions if you're an American, but still the massive potential that this coin has, the massive potential. If you see something else, another ecosystem having an IDO platform, that's probably something you want to at least do a little bit of research. I highly suggest you check out their one-page white paper. Definitely check it out, understand a little bit more about it. If you guys have any questions, please put them down below, because I mean, it's something that has such a high potential. I also had a message from a Patreon member complaining about the gas fee that, if you're in on this one where you get the 10% chance, you're only allowed to buy, I think it was $100 worth, and then there's still a $60 gas fee. So, that's a 60% fee. But at the end of the day, these gains are so massive that it doesn't matter if you're paying $160 for $100 worth of the Giro. So just please keep that in mind. It's all lessons learned, and I hope you guys can make those gains out there. But as always, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a silly dude on the internet. I see patterns, and as soon as I saw Cardano, I was like, this thing is going to make massive gains. So you definitely don't want to sit that one out. If you guys want to know when I'm buying, get in early, definitely consider joining the Patreon down below, the crypto enthusiast community. There's also another tier if you need some more one-on-one action. So of course, until the next time, guys, may those gains be with you.